What's going on, guys, and welcome back to LOI TV. Now, tomorrow we have a huge game for Dundalk. Of course, it's the second game in their group, in Group B, in their Europa League campaign, and they face, of course, Arsenal. Potentially the biggest fixture of their campaign. They travel to the Emirates Stadium, and we're joined by Griff and Liam, both Arsenal fans. Me and Socko rooting for Dundalk. I'm not sure who the other lads be rooting for now, but I think Liam's making his allegiance clear there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
has to be done.
well, just based on the fact that we did so badly against Leicester, I think we kind of need a win now.
yeah. We'll start off with talking about the hosts, Arsenal. Obviously, you just mentioned the loss against Leicester. They're a little bit concerning with how it's going this season.
I think there's been positives and negatives towards the season. I think we started off well. We got 9 points from the games because we had like a tough start. We had obviously have Liverpool, City, and Leicester, so we kind of knew we needed to do well in the first few games because inevitably we were going to drop points against those teams. So we've done well, being positive. We just don't have a creative outlet. Like Partey was a good signing. He's what we needed. Obviously, still settling in. He's only played like 120 minutes or whatever now. But I think we do still need a creative player. We don't have any goal-scoring midfielders. Like I think, like only like 2 or 3 midfielders got on the score sheet last season. Like, do you know what I mean? Like we kind of relied too much on Aubameyang. Liam, what do you think?
I think it's going to be a long season, first of all. If you looked at it, like, since we played City in the summer there and we got smashed, and if you look at that now, like, we only lost 1-0. Leicester came to the Emirates, had a clear game plan, not play football till Vardy came on, then play football for 20 minutes, smash and grab. Obviously, they achieved that. As Griff said, it would have loved to got a rare in, but obviously finances and everything like that. It's a bit concerning. I don't really know my own thoughts on the Ozil situation at all, because I think he could probably still give something to the team currently. But then again, I think that's why we brought Willian in, which I'm still yet to see the best of personally. I think
our best team, in my opinion, going forward is Ober through the centre, Pepe on the right, and like we even put Saka on the left. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, because I put even Lacazette, man. Lacazette is a fat bastard. Like, he just contributes to nothing. Like, you like him, but he's absolutely.
I don't want him.
Like,
there's your thumbnail.
Clip that up.
I like Lacazette. I like him, but he's just all he does is get the ball, he backs into people. He's an arts merchant. Like,
it's just very annoying from an Arsenal fan's point of view. We have our best player not playing in his proper position.
Yeah, he started on the right in the last game. Like, I think he only started on the right a few times for Dortmund. Like, it's like the guy's 31 now. You don't be fucking throwing him out to the right wing. You should be building a team around him. He's the best player. Like, Arsenal
are currently 11th in the Premier League at the moment. Obviously on the back of that loss against Leicester. The next game is huge, up against Man United at Old Trafford. So that's only a couple of days after the Dundalk game. So that could be season defining in the battle for the top 6. So, even games like West Ham where Arsenal won, they weren't overly convincing, I didn't think. So yeah, it hasn't been the best start to the season, but it's been okay.
West Ham are a tough opponent.
They're a tough side, yeah. They're a tough side to beat.
They've had a good start to the season.
Yeah.
Sheffield, we played shy up until Pepe came on. On.
I think another thing to remember is we've seen at the start of the Premier League how we're in this weird, fucking otherworldly world with the lack of crowds and the silly scores. 7-2, 6-1 we've seen. I don't think you could take too much for granted at the moment.
Coming back to your overall on Arsenal, I think if you look at Arsenal from this time last year and this, like, currently, there's like, even look, today marks the year of Granit Xhaka getting booed off the pitch. There's a completely different atmosphere around the club, the players, everything. Like, we're so more compact, just better defensively organised, and absolutely every scenario. Even if football's better to watch.
Yeah, 11th in the league shows that as well. They come from behind he came from behind last week to beat Rapid Vienna 2-1 in the Europa League. Did you see that game, and how did you just play in that one?
Shite.
Yeah,
but,
really well.
Partey was probably the standout.
Well, Leno made an absolute balls the first one. Like. But I mean,
'Cause
to be fair, I've seen so many people, and it's a recurring theme in Arsenal, like it's Arsenal fan base. Like every time, if Martinez does well for Villa or Leno does badly for us, it's just like, oh, we shouldn't have sold Martinez, and like we should have sold Leno or whatever. Like Leno, like people forget, like is like probably our best player, the Barrow Aubameyang at the moment. Like he was so solid for us last season.
Yeah.
Even the game I was saying against Liverpool in the Carabao Cup, the guy was a monstrosity. Like he kept everything out. Like, and you make one mistake and suddenly it's like our fan base can be so toxic sometimes. You know.
I think that's a general thing in football, especially with social media these days. Like especially goalkeepers, you're not allowed to make like one mistake.
Exactly. Yeah.
Different, like looking at Kepa, form
Would have been a mistake.
form is a totally different thing. But if a keeper is doing his job week in, week out, and makes an odd mistake, like people just lose their shit over it. Like, but a fucking midfielder misplaces 5 passes and no one sees. So
I know, Liam, you said you were a fan of Martinez, didn't you? Though I think you've said that to me before.
Personally, Martinez kind of had all the values of an Arsenal player, in my point of view. Anyway, like he's gone through the academy. He's taken years to make his like debut, get like actually establish himself as a first team goalkeeper, and it kind of didn't really sit right with me, the fact that he had like he obviously won the FA Cup and he just gets sent out, like, but then again, like it's a hard one because of the pandemic, and Arsenal are kind of notorious for not having the best of funds and everything like that. It just, I think it's probably a bit of a matchup. I prefer Martinez still be at Arsenal rather than Leno.
Just looking at Arsenal's starting 11 that they might play against Dundalk, they're probably gonna make a good few changes from the team that played against Vienna last week. But they did put a strong enough side out. It was Leno in goal, Cedric at right back, David Luiz and Gabriel at centre back, Kolasinac left back. I think it was a 4-4-2 because they played Nketiah and Lacazette up top, or was one of them in the 10 or something.
No, they would have been up top.
So then it was
Nketiah behind them.
Yeah, so then it was a midfield 4 of Pepe, Partey, El Nene and Saka. So that's a strong enough side, really. But you'd be expecting to see the likes of maybe Joe Willock, Reece Nelson, maybe Runnerson in goal might get a game. Obviously Nketiah will probably play again, and maybe Mustafi or something like that. What kind of side do you expect to see?
I'd say it will kind of be a similar enough team. Saka won't play, I don't think, because he played on the weekend. Willock should play, I think. Reece Nelson, who hasn't got any minutes really so far this season, but he's really underrated by Arsenal fans. Like, I think he got a goal and assist every 88 minutes he was on the pitch last season or something. Like, so he'll get a run out, I'd say. Player we were talking about before he came on, like Emil Smith-Rowe's come back from injury, so he could get a run out. There's other players. Your man Runarsson is meant to be dog shite. Like, he's not meant to be good. But I'd say like they'll probably give him a run out. Like, because I mean Leno's played every single minute of the campaign so far. Like, so yeah,
you just see something like Pat Hoban clatter into him and make him injured for the weekend or something. You can see it. Like,
that's the thing. Like, it's not worth it. Like,
Pat Hoban's a United supporter, I heard.
Even Mustafi and stuff, like, he should be levels above everything Dundalk have to offer. You'd imagine, like, on a real note, like,
on a real note, yeah, probably. Like, but I mean, the thing is, that guy has mistaken him, like a serious mistake in him. Like, you see,
Kelly hasn't played.
But you see it on the weekend. Gabriel, who's like 19, like goes. You can literally see he goes, step back, and and then the ball comes over the top and Vardy scores. Like, the guy is an idiot.
I meant to text you about that. I was watching Match of the Day and he just did not. It's like he just forgot how to play football for a minute.
I paid 15 to watch Mustafi make another mistake. Like,
what kind of team are you expecting to see yourself, Liam, from Arsenal?
I think Runnerson will get a debut. Personally, I just think Leno's played too much football, especially coming back from a big injury that he had. I'd like to see. I think it'll be similar enough to the Vienna game. I think Cedric will play. Gabriel, I hope, stays in the middle because he's just solid. He's just a beast. I think Mustafi is really our only really other option because David Luiz went off injured on Sunday, so that's a bit of a worry. So I think Mustafi, unfortunately, the clown will be in there beside Gabriel.
Pablo Mari kicking back.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
See,
see, the thing is, Arsenal, you just forget you have these players.
Yeah.
You give a 4 year deal to him, and you give a 4 year
Also
deal
have
to Cedric Ramirez.
Callum
What are you
Chambers who's
doing?
injured, but he's in the squad.
Rob Holding, I
Injured
suppose.
in the
Injured as well,
squad.
is he?
Then I think for the midfield, I think it's going to be Partey, El
Do
Neni,
you
and
think Partey will play again? Surely
yeah.
Partey will be rested for United, you'd think. I think he will be. I'd say Willock will get in there.
They could put Willock in, or they could put Emil Smith Rowe in. El Neni will start anyway. But El Neni thinks it's like, I don't know what this fella's problem is, but he thinks it's illegal to pass the ball forward. Like it's
Yeah.
like he's just the most backwards player ever. Like
Playing rugby.
Do you think there'd be a bit of insurance on the bench? Would he put an Aubameyang on the bench, Lacazette on the bench, maybe just in case of emergency?
yeah, he did that against Vienna, like, and got
Yeah.
and change the game. Like you have to, like,
Just
because the
in
thing
case.
is that you don't know what you're gonna get. Like
Yeah, it's not like you're traveling abroad either to like it's at home, like, so you might as well just stick him on the bench.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I do
No.
think Eddie will take care of things though up top personally.
I'd say so. Yeah. Moving on to Dundalk, obviously started off their campaign with a disappointing loss to Mold at home 2-1. Actually went 1-0 up and then just kind of dropped off and tried to defend it. And they were played well in the first half, I thought, and then it was disappointing to see them kind of collapse in the second a little bit. They're currently third in the league with 2 games left, and they should. I think they have a big game against Pats a couple of days after to secure Europe for next season, which is of course huge financially for the club if they were to miss out next year. It'd be a nightmare.
Giovanni was talking about that. I think today or yesterday. The Pats game is 3 days later, and he was really he talked a bit about the Arsenal game, but I think he made it clear that his main focus was Sunday, in that aim to qualify for Europe next year. It's easy to get caught up in kind of this campaign, but it's super important for them to qualify next year. He said that we have to be realistic versus Arsenal, and after the Waterford result, Sunday is very important. He said on Thursday we'll try to do our best and see what happens. So yeah, they definitely need to win against Pats, who are trying to get that third spot along with Sligo and Waterford. I think they have a game in hand too, but you'd like to think that a win on Sunday would guarantee them.
Yeah, lost to Pats will definitely put the pressure on. Just in terms of how Dundalk will probably set up, they played with the 4 at the back against Mold. I could see them probably reverting to a 5 at the back against Arsenal just to try and keep things compact and stay in the game for as long as they can, really. I know they've played with a back 5 in Europe previously as well. I mean, if potentially if Arsenal are playing a couple of the younger lads, just free kicks and corners might be potential chances for Dundalk. They have a couple of big lads in the team. They obviously have a counter-attack threat with the likes of Dan Kelly, and as you said, Mustafi potentially could have a mistake in him or something like that. Filippo Giovignoli, a couple of his quotes were interesting, I thought, after the draw was made initially. He said about Arsenal, they have better players than us and they have better coaches and everything than us. Of course they do. They are better than us, but this is the challenge, which I think is realistic. It's a good way of looking at it, but I think he keeps that bit of realism within the squad kind of thing, and he says that we need to play with a lot of heart and run a lot and be a little bit crazy and brave, but we are going to try. Anything is possible. So I think that is the thing, like anything is possible in football, so you just never know. I think it'd be probably the biggest upset. I think they're 45-1 we were saying before the game.
Yeah, Dundalk 45-1 to win. A draw is 13-1, and Arsenal are 1-20 to win. So if you bet £100 on Arsenal, you get a fiver back. So but yeah, as you said, like they're not just there to kind of turn up. Dan Cleary said in The Athletic a few days ago that while it is bittersweet, he said they probably would have took a few thousand Dundalk fans to the Emirates. He said we're not here by fluke. We've earned our place here, and we have to give our best to qualify for the last 16. So it's kind of encouraging to hear him not just look at the Arsenal game, but look ahead and potentially like a coming second and a last 16 place. But yeah, it'll be a huge task. I would agree. I think it's good that they are realistic about it and not just like have their head up in the clouds and still on this like magic European journey. So yeah, all they can do is just do their best and have a bit of pride in representing their families in the league and the people of Dundalk, I suppose.
Yeah, it's one to tell the grandkids, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it'd be savage, and it'd be funny. It was similar to Rovers and Milan, like who'd be going up to who for someone's shirts, and I don't think anyone would be going for Mustafi's shirt, to be
I
honest.
hope one from Mustafi, like for sure.
A predicted lineup I've kind of put out for Dundalk. I've kind of gone with a back five just because I think that they might just try and do that, especially away from home. Because I know usually they do go to back four, but Chris Shields kind of drops in nearly as part of a back five. But I think they might just go Rogers. I think Rogers will go and goal. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Back five of Gannon, Sean Hoare, Andy, and a mix of Sean Hoare, Andy Boyle, Gartland or Cleary. Three of them, I'd say, will go centre back. Then Dara Leahy, I think will be left wing back. Then if you go look in the midfield, maybe like a two of Chris Shields and Sloggett. Both quite good on the ball, energetic, and they'll need it a lot to get around the Emirates pitch for 90 minutes. And then I think Sean Murray might play off to the right. He scored a few goals in Europe so far for them. He's been a crucial player for them. And then Michael Duffy and Pat Hoban, who they'll be looking to get the ball to as well. Then with the likes of Dan Kelly on the bench, who could have, I think his best is very good impact off the bench, I think. So some fresh legs last half hour potentially. And then if you a couple of others like Stefan Kolovic, Macmillan, Jordan Flores, Patrick McElhenney on the bench. So there's a couple of options, but I think they will try and just stay compact and try and stay in the game for as long as they can.
Yeah, I think a few names you mentioned there at the start. They were unlucky not to at least nick a point against Waterford last weekend, but Rogers, Cleary, Gannon, Sloggett, Pat Hoban and Michael Duffy all didn't start the game against Waterford. So it's clear Filippo had an eye towards Thursday. But yeah, they probably line out a similar team to mould last week. I'd probably agree with the back five. Try to stay in the game as long as possible and just hopefully hit them on a set piece or counter attack. But there's certainly no shame in going over there, doing your best, and try stay in the game as long as possible.
It'd be great if they even got a goal just to see it, kind of thing, wouldn't it? To be really good to see. Like,
yeah, especially for the fans. A mate of mine went over to see Rovers versus Spurs. I think it was 2011, and I think they led for like
they went 1-0
15, 20 minutes. They went 1-0 up, and like their memories to last a lifetime. So even though the fans aren't there, like to get a goal would be super. Like as you said, you'll tell the grandkids about it.
Absolutely. Predictions, lads?
I do still think Arsenal obviously do have enough to comfortably win. I wouldn't put it past Dundalk getting a goal. I'd say, to be honest, I don't think it'll be as convincing as people think it will. I think Dundalk, because the way they're set up, they don't have a bad team by any stretch, really. I'm gonna go 2-0 Arsenal.
I think Filippo will pretty much try replicate the Leicester performance, like put every man behind the ball. Then why not have a go in the last 20 if it's still 0-0? But I think Arsenal's quality will just kind of come through in the end, and I think Eddie will get a hat-trick. He scores goals for fun. He's better than that. But I do think Arsenal will concede personally, because if Mustafi's playing, Jesus, don't like the guy gives me no confidence at the back there. So I'm going to go for a 3-1 Arsenal win.
Yeah, I'd probably be the same. David Luiz out, and probably your faith in Mustafi. I'm always the optimist, so I'd like to see Dundalk score. So I'd probably go 3-1 as well. But we all know how much quality Arsenal have. So yeah, 3-1 Arsenal.
Yeah, Filippo, as you're saying, might look at that Leicester game as a bit of kind of a blueprint, with like someone like Dan Kelly replicating Vardy coming off the bench and having that bit of energy. I know it's obviously a much smaller scale, but in terms of having that bit of pace, it could be similar. But yeah, it's 99 times out of 100 if these teams play, it's going to be a comfortable win for Arsenal, and I imagine I'm going to go 4-1 Arsenal. I think I'd like to see Dundalk get a goal, but yeah, as I said, I think Nketiah could get a couple, and I think it will be comfortable in the end.
Another bit of news I just saw, there's 2 great Dundalk articles in The Athletic if anyone's interested, but Giovagnoli confirmed that he will be at Dundalk next year. So we all know he only signed a temporary deal, I think, till the end of this season. And at the end of the article, he said, really funny actually, he said he was asked did he have any Arsenal connections, and he said he had a phone call with Liam Brady, Obviously ex-Arsenal and ex-Juventus, where Giovagnoli was a big Juve fan. But at the end of the piece, he said that he'll be in charge at Dundalk next year. So
definitely deserves a chance for the full campaign as well. He's done well in terms of the schedule they've had has been crazy as well. So it has been a really testing period. So he's
eighth game in 28 days, I think.
Something like that, yeah. So it's tough,
recovery would be huge for them.
That's our predictions and a preview for the game on tomorrow night. So yeah, if you want to leave your predictions down in the comments below. We did do a video with Robbie from AFTV where we did a bit of a preview with him as well. So I'll leave a link to that in the description down below. Make sure to go check that out. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. And yeah, come on the town.
Come on the town.